Howdy, howdy, folks. Welcome to Babble with Bronies. I am your host. My name is Everlasting Joy, and joining me today is my good friend, Mr. Ben.
Hey,
And Twilight is Magic should be here shortly. Anyway, let's get the show started. I know we've got a lot to talk about with this finale, but one thing, there were two pieces of news that I would share should they have come to pass. Now, unfortunately, the season five um, premiere date hasn't been announced, but there was one other piece of announcement that I did want to announce to everyone. You guys remember way back in episode 100, I said to you guys, Cinema Equestria would be opening up new applicants for people to join us as staff members. Well, the we finally got the application up and ready. So, if you are interested, feel free to apply to us. What we are looking for this time are someone who would be interested in being a staff artist, a technical person, or maybe you have some interesting skill that you want to bring to the table. We're also looking for people who are mostly European types, or not American, not in this section of the world. Someone who could cover some streaming for us. So we're looking for a whole wide variety of people. If you still think you can contribute to us, and maybe you don't fall under these circumstances, don't be afraid to apply anyway. We may still look over, and we still may say, "Yeah, we'll look over this." So, if you're interested in becoming a staff member here at Cinema Equestria, fill it out.
indeed, like he said, don't hesitate to fill it out and send it to us. We'd love to have you on the team.
One other thing, I need to set the deadlines. We agreed to have it open until March 1st. So the last day to submit this is February 28th. After that day, we're closing it down, and we'll be looking over applications. So you have until March 1st to fill it out. But until then, fill it out, spread it around, tell everyone we're interested in people. We are interested in looking for people. All right, so please fill it out.
Cinema Equestria wants you. Sorry.
All right. Um. Anyway, let's get on with the show. I'm going to put you on hold, Mr. Ben, and we'll go from there.
All right, go for it.
All right, ladies and germs, the season 2 finale.
It is gorgeous out. Just gorgeous. Twilight, I have... Let me just...
Dear Twilight, I am sure you are as excited as I am about the upcoming wedding in Canterlot. Wedding? I will be presiding over the ceremony, but would very much like you and your friends to help with the preparations for this wonderful occasion. Fluttershy, I would like you and your songbird choir to provide the music.
Oh my goodness, what an honor.
Pinkie Pie, I can think of no one more qualified than you to host the reception. Applejack, you will be in charge of the catering for the reception.
Well, color me pleased as punch.
Rainbow Dash, I would very much appreciate it if you could perform a sonic rainboom as the bride and groom complete their I-do's.
Yes!
Rarity, you will be responsible for designing the dresses for the bride and her bridesmaids.
Princess Celestia wants me to make a wedding dress for a Canterlot wedding.
And as for you, Twilight, you will be playing the most important role of all, making sure that everything goes as planned. See you all very soon. Yours, Princess Celestia. But I don't understand. Who's getting married?
Oh, wait. I was probably supposed to give you this one first.
Princess Celestia cordially invites you to the wedding of Princess Mi Amore Cadenza and... my brother?
My little pony, my little pony. My little pony. I used to wonder what friendship could be. My little pony. Until you all shared its magic with me. Big adventure. Tons of fun. A beautiful heart, faithful and strong. Sharing kindness. It's an easy feat. And magic makes it all complete. You have mine. Do you know you're all my very best friends?
Your brother's getting married? Congratulations, Twilight. That's great news.
Yeah, great news. That I just got from a wedding invitation. Not from my brother, but from a piece of paper. Thanks a lot, Shining Armor. I mean, really, he couldn't tell me personally?
Hey, Twilight. Just thought you should know I'm making a really big decision that changes everything. Oh, never mind. You'll hear about it when you get the invitation.
Princess Mi Amore Cadenza? Who in the hoof is that?
Twilight, are you okay?
Sorry, it's just that Shining Armor and I have always been so close. He's my BBBFF. Big brother, best friend forever?
Oh!
Before I came here and learned the importance of friendship, Shining Armor was the only pony I ever really accepted as a friend.
When I was just a filly, I found it rather silly to see how many other ponies I could meet. I had my books to read, didn't know that I would ever need other ponies to make my life complete. But there was one colt that I cared for. I knew he would be there for me. My big brother, best friend forever. Like two peas in a pod, we did everything together. He taught me how to fly a kite, best friend forever. We never had a single fight. We did everything together. We shared our hopes, we shared our dreams. I miss him more than I realized, it seems. Your big brother, best friend forever. Like two peas in a pod, you did everything together. And though he's oh so far away, I hope that he would stay. My big brother, best friend forever.
Has one of your PFFs, Pony Friends Forever,
Oh!
I want to tell you that I think your brother sounds like a real good guy.
He is pretty special. I mean, they don't just let any pony be captain of the Royal Guard.
So let me get this straight. We're helping out with the wedding of not only a princess, but a captain of the Royal Guard.
I guess we are.
Sonic, a sonic rainbow at a wedding? Can you say best wedding ever? Best wedding ever! So you all get to help with a big fancy wedding, but I'm the one who gets to host the bachelor party. I have just one question. What's a bachelor party?
Why the long face, Sugar Cube?
I'm just thinking about Shining Armor. Ever since I moved to Ponyville, we've been seeing each other less and less. And now that he's starting a new family with this Princess Mi Amore, what's her name? We'll probably never see each other.
Come on now. You're his sister. He'll always make time for you.
Couldn't seem to make time to tell me he was getting married.
We're here! We're here! the necessary precautions. Royal weddings do bring out the strangest ponies. Now let's get going. We've got work to do.
And you've got a big brother to go congratulate.
Yeah, congratulate. And then give him a piece of my mind. I've got something to say to you, mister.
Twiley! I've missed you, kid. How was the train ride?
How dare you not tell me in person that you were getting married? I'm your sister for Pony's sake.
It's not my fault. Princess Celestia has requested a major increase in security. Didn't you see all the guards at the train station?
Yeah, there's a big wedding coming up. Maybe you heard about it?
It has nothing to do with the wedding. A threat has been made against Canterlot. We don't know who's responsible for it, but Princess Celestia asked that I help provide additional protection. This, you need to see. The burden of keeping Canterlot safe and secure rests squarely on my shoulders. Staying focused on the task at hand has been my top priority.
Okay, I get it. You've got a really important job protecting all of Canterlot with a force field only you can conjure up. But still, how could you not tell me about something as big as your wedding? Am I not that important to you anymore?
Hey, you're my little sister. Of course you're important to me. But I'd understand if you didn't want to be my best mare now.
You want me to be your best mare?
Well, yeah.
I'd be honored. But I'm still pretty ticked you're marrying some pony I don't even know. When did you even meet this Princess Miamore Cadenza?
Twiley, Princess Miamore Cadenza is Cadence, your old foal sitter.
Cadence? As in the Cadence? As in the greatest foal sitter in all the history of foal sitters?
You tell me. She was your foal sitter.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Cadence is only the most amazing pony ever. She's beautiful. She's caring. She's kind. I am so lucky to have you as my foal sitter.
I'm the one who's lucky, Twilight.
You're a princess. I'm just a regular old unicorn.
You are anything but a regular old unicorn.
Sunshine, sunshine, ladybugs awake. Clap your hooves and do a little shake.
I am going for a hopicure, and that is that.
I'm not going.
I
paid
am.
for three this
no,
month.
You know, my girlfriends are all getting their hooves done,
We've
and
done
you
this
said,
at least-
Oh, sweetie. You just did that thing.
How many unicorns can just spread love wherever they go? I only know of one. And you're marrying her. You're marrying Cadence. You're marrying Cadence.
I hope I'm not interrupting anything important.
Cadence. Sunshine, sunshine, ladybugs awake. Clap your hooves and do a little shake.
What are you doing?
Cadence, it's me, Twilight.
Aha.
I've got to get back to my station, but Cadence will be checking in with all of you to see how things are going. I think I speak for both of us when I say we couldn't be more excited to have you here. Right, dear?
Absolutely.
Well, we'll let you get to it.
Cake. Check. Eye sculpture. Check. Best darn bite-sized apple fritter you ever tasted?
Check.
I do. Do you?
I do. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Hiya, princess.
Please, call me Princess Miamore Cadenza.
Hiya, Princess Miamore Cadenza. You come to check out what's on the menu for your big day?
I have. delicious. I love, love, love them.
Oh, shucks. Why don't you take a few to go? I know how you brides can be. So busy you forget to get a little something in your belly.
Did you see what she... Oh, you should have seen how she acted back there. I don't know when she changed, but she changed. Please, call me Princess Mi Amore Cadenza.
Did I hear someone say my name?
Your Highness, let me just start by saying what an honor it is to play a role in such a momentous occasion.
Uh-huh. Is my dress ready?
Yes, of course. I've been working on it ever since I was given the assignment, and I think you'll be pleased with the results.
I was hoping for something with more beating and a longer train.
Oh, yes, of course.
And those should be a different color.
I think they're lovely.
Me too. I love them.
Make them a different color.
Gee, maybe her name should be Princess Demandy Pants.
Okay, let me see. We've been over the game. The dances. I think this reception is gonna be perfect, don't you?
Perfect! If we were celebrating a 6-year-old's birthday party.
Thank you! Rest, my sister. As always, I will guard the night.
Bet I can guess what you're all thinking. Cadence is the absolute worst bride-to-be ever.
Who, me? Spike. That goes on the cake.
Twilight, whatever are you talking about? Cadence is an absolute gem.
Rarity, she was so demanding.
Well, of course she was. Why shouldn't she expect the very best on her wedding day?
Applejack, did you know that after she told you how much she just loved your hors d'oeuvres, she threw them in the trash?
Oh, she was probably just trying to spare my feelings.
No, she was just being fake and totally insincere.
She did raise her voice at one of my birds during rehearsal.
See? Rude.
But he was singing really off-key.
Pinkie Pie, you had to have noticed how Cadence treated... Never mind. Rainbow Dash, you're with me, right?
Sorry, Twi. Been too busy prepping for my sonic rain boom to pay much attention to the bride's bad attitude.
The princess is about to get married. I'm sure any negative behavior she might be displaying is simply the result of nerves.
And I'm sure it's the result of her being an awful pony who doesn't deserve to even know Shining Armor, let alone marry him.
Think maybe you're being just a tiny bit possessive of your brother?
I am not being possessive, and I am not taking it out on Cadence. You're all just too caught up in your wedding planning to notice that maybe there shouldn't even be a wedding.
Twilight! Your big brother's looking pretty good, don't you think? Huh. Everything okay?
We need to talk. I think you're making a big...
Oh, hi, sweetie.
She sure has a way of sneaking up on people.
Could I speak to you for a moment, dear?
Better see what she wants.
Look, we need to talk.
I'm here to talk. Look, she's okay.
Just listen to me.
I'm listening.
I thought I made it perfectly clear I didn't want you to wear that.
This was my favorite uncle's.
And?
And I think I should wear it.
Are you disagreeing with me?
I guess I am.
Oh, dear. Are you getting another one of your headaches? Feeling better?
She isn't just unpleasant and rude. She's downright evil.
Twilight!
Let her go.
Huh. It seemed like she had something else she wanted to tell me.
Who goes there? Stay indoors, Twilight Sparkle.
Shining Armor's in real trouble. You have to help.
One of my
favorite thing is dresses. What are you?
Can you believe it? We're gonna be Princess Mia Mori Cadenza's new bridesmaids.
New bridesmaids? What happened to her old bridesmaids?
She didn't say, but she did tell us that she would love, love, love it if we'd fill in for them.
Seeing as we've been working so hard and everything,
And you had your doubts about her.
told you she was an absolute gem.
You sure this is what I should wear? Doesn't seem all that aerodynamic.
I'll see what I can do.
This is so exciting.
Looks like I really am on my own.
Perfect, girls. No need to rush. Then, of course, Cadence will enter. I'll say a few words, and then we'll begin with the vows. Shining Armor, you'll get the ring from your best mare.
Do you?
I do.
Hey, has anybody seen Twilight?
I'm here. I'm not gonna stand next to her. And neither should you.
I'm sorry, I don't know why she's acting like this.
Maybe we should just ignore her. You have to listen to me.
Oh, goodness. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
You sure about that?
I've got something to say. She's evil. She's been horrible to my friends. She's obviously done something to her bridesmaids. And if that wasn't enough, I saw her put a spell on my brother that made his eyes go all...
Why are you doing this to me?
Because you're evil. Evil! And if I don't stop you, you're gonna ruin my brother's life.
You want to know why my eyes went all... Because ever since I started having to perform my protection spell, I've been getting terrible migraines. Cadence hasn't been casting spells on me. She's been using her magic to heal me. And she decided to replace her bridesmaids because she found out the only reason they wanted to be in the wedding was so they could meet Canterlot royalty. And if she hasn't been on her best behavior with your friends, it's because with me being so busy, she's had to make all the decisions about the wedding.
I was just trying to...
She's completely stressed out because it's really important to her that our big day be perfect. Something that obviously wasn't important to you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go and comfort my bride. And you can forget about being my best mare. In fact, if I were you, I wouldn't show up to the wedding at all.
Come on, y'all. Let's go check on the princess.
You have a lot to think about.
Maybe I was being overprotective. I could have gained a sister, but instead, I just lost a brother.
He was my big brother, best friend, forever. And now we'll never do anything together.
I'm sorry.
You will be.
Hello? Is anyone there?
ones who wanted to claim the gems that could be found inside. And now, you're in prison.
Help! Help!
It's no use. No one can hear you, and no one will ever think to look for you either. Most ponies have forgotten that these caves even exist, which is why they are the ideal place to keep the ones who try to interfere with my plans.
Plans? What plans?
The plans I have for your brother, of course.
Don't you dare do anything to my brother, you monster!
Only way to stop me is to catch me. Over here! Nope. Over here.
No! Wait!
Please, don't hurt me. Twilight hits me. Please, you have to believe me. I've been imprisoned like you. The Cadence who brought you down here was an imposter.
Likely story!
Sunshine, sunshine, ladybugs awake. Clap your hooves and do a little shake.
You remember me.
Of course I do. How could I forget the filly I love to sit for the most?
We have to get out of here. We have to stop her.
This day is going to be perfect. The kind of day of which I dreamed since I was small. Every pony will gather round. See, I look lovely in my gown. What they don't know is that I have fooled them all. This day was going to be perfect. The kind of day of which I dreamed since I was small. But instead of having cake with all my friends to celebrate my wedding bells, they may not ring for me at all. I could care less about the dress. I won't partake in any cake. Vows, well, I'll be lying when I say that through any kind of weather, I want us to be together. The truth is, I don't care for him at all. No, I do not love the groom. In my heart, there is no room. But I still want him to be all mine. Must escape before it's too late. Find a way to save the day. Hope I'll be lying if I say I don't fear that I may lose him to one who wants to use him, not care for love and cherish him each day. For I also love the groom, all my thoughts he does consume. Oh, shining armor, I'll be there very Finally, the moment has arrived for me to be one lucky bride. Oh, the wedding we won't make, he'll end up marrying a fake. Shining armor will be mine, all mine.
Mares and gentle colts, we are gathered here today to witness the union of Princess Mi Amore Cadenza and Shining Armor.
Oh, we're never going to save him.
We will. We just have to find... There!
You're not going anywhere.
Princess Cadence and Shining Armor, it is my great pleasure to pronounce you...
Ugh, why does she have to be so possessive of her brother? Why does she have to ruin my special day? because it's not your special day, it's mine. What? But how did you escape my bridesmaids? Clever, but you're still too late.
I don't understand. How can there be two of them?
She's a changeling. She takes the form of some pony you love and gains power by feeding off your love for them.
Right you are, princess. And as queen of the changelings, it is up to me to find food for my subjects. Equestria has more love than any place I've ever encountered. My fellow changelings will be able to devour so much of it that we will gain more power than we have ever dreamed of.
They'll never get the chance. Shining Armor's protection spell will keep them from ever even reaching us.
Oh, I doubt that. Isn't that right, dear? Don't want to go back to the caves now, do you? Ever since I took your place, I've been feeding off Shining Armor's love for you. Every moment he grows weaker, and so does his spell. Even now, my minions are chipping away at it. He may not be my husband, but he is under my total control now. And I'm sorry to say, unable to perform his duties as captain of the Royal Guard.
Not my Shining Armor!
Soon, my changeling army will break through. First, we take Canterlot, and then all of Equestria!
No. You won't. You may have made it impossible for Shining Armor to perform his spell, but now that you have so foolishly revealed your true self, I can protect my subjects from you!
Shining Armor's love for you is even stronger than I thought. Consuming it has made me even more powerful than Celestia!
The elements of harmony. You must get to them and use their power to defeat the Queen.
Rarity!
You can run, but you can't hide!
friends will...
You were saying? You do realize the reception's been canceled, don't you? Go! Feed! It's funny, really. Twilight here was suspicious of my behavior all along. Too bad the rest of you were too caught up in your wedding planning to realize those suspicions were correct.
Sorry, Twi. We should have listened to you.
It's not your fault. She fooled every pony.
I did, didn't I?
This day has been just perfect. The kind of day of which I've dreamed since I was small. Every pony I'll soon control. Every stallion, mare, and foal. Who says a girl can really have it all?
Quick, go to him while you still have the chance.
Where? Huh? Is the wedding over?
It's all over.
Your spell! Perform your spell!
What good would that do? My changelings already roam free.
No! My power is useless now. I don't have the strength to repel them.
My love will give you strength.
What a lovely but absolutely ridiculous sentiment.
Don't worry about me. I'm fine. You have a real wedding to put together.
Seriously, though, I get why the Queen of the Changelings wanted to be with you, but how did you get someone as amazing as Cadence to marry you?
I told her she wouldn't just be gaining a husband, she'd be getting a pretty great sister, too.
Mares and gentle colts, we are gathered here today to celebrate the union of the real Princess Mi Amore Cadenza.
Princess Cadence is fine.
The union of Princess Cadence and Shining Armor. The strength of their commitment is clear. The power of their love undeniable. May we have the rings, please? I now pronounce you Mayor and Colt. This is your victory as much as theirs. You persisted in the face of doubt, and your actions led to your being able to bring the real Princess Cadence back to us. Learning to trust your instincts is a valuable lesson to learn.
Mwah.
Rainbow Dash, that's your cue.
Best wedding ever! Hello, every pony. Did I miss anything?
Let's get this party started!
Love is in blue, a beautiful bride, a handsome groom, two hearts becoming one, a bond that cannot be undone because love is in blue, a beautiful bride, a handsome groom. I said love is in blue, you're starting a life and making room for us.
Twilight! None of this would have been possible without you, little sis. Love you, Twilight.
Love you too, BBBFF.
Ready to go?
Oh, almost forgot.
Now this was a great wedding.
Oh, yeah? Just wait until you see what I have planned for the bachelor party.
Ladies and gentlemen, the season 2 finale, A Canterlot Wedding. All right, while I get everything set up here, of course, throw your initial impressions in. All right. Get you guys in.
Yeah, I found a Tim here just hanging out, wandering into the call. Can we keep him?
Yeah. I was waiting for that. I was so waiting for that.
I promise he's house trained. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Just reading through some of the comments right now. Ice has best princess, so best episodes. All right. All right. What was it I was going to do? Oh yeah, just get this going. All right, guys. Um, before I, much like last time, I know you guys want to hear what I have to say about this episode and lesson 0. I'll get there, but just like last time, I gotta ask you guys, what do you guys think of the introduction, the very first bits, up to and including the song BBBFF?
Oh man, where can I begin? Oh. It's actually rather incredible, to be perfectly honest, in my opinion. But um, just in regards to the fact that I still find it interesting that we never heard anything back from. Let me rearrange this. Shining Armor to me just sort of came out of nowhere in regards to just being a character. I mean, yes, I know that she probably could have told her friends about him off screen, but just the very fact that we never even heard anything about him, even in supplementary material leading up to the season 2 finale, just still kind of, I don't know.
Rubs you the wrong way.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, I can see why one would find that disappointing. And as I said earlier, yeah, they do come out of nowhere. Yeah, they were basically just established for this episode. Chekhov's gunman kicking in here. But, as I said as well, so what? Where do we establish them?
I
Episode
also
one.
wanted to butt in.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So I wanted to butt in regarding this question, regarding this entire issue. That's, well, while it would, yes, be kind of make sense for Twilight to maintain some sort of communication with her brother throughout the episodes, then there are two things. One, we did not need to know that yet, and we don't see all the moments of their lives when in those episodes where they're just covering snippets of their daily lives, Ponyville and the like, and their adventures. And two, it also serves as a kind of, well, I don't know, it even goes, the show gets extra mileage out of the fact that Shining Armor had not been shown before that point, as it's kind of shows that it hasn't been factoring much into Twilight's life and vice versa. So they've had to kind of falling out despite the closeness they had before as brother and sister. So it kind of already gives the relationship some kind of color, some kind of gravity, just by playing the fact that he hadn't appeared in the show the right way. So I would say that yes, it could have been done differently, but the way it's been done, well, I like it.
For me, it's just a matter of, again, where do we establish it? I know it's just one little piece I want to fill in here. Where do we establish it? In season 1, episode, I don't know, 19, 17, 21? Where do we establish it? And most importantly, of what relevance is it?
Yeah, before he didn't matter at all. Well, he could have been a fun addition in some episodes, sure. That's probably what some people are irked by, something they're irked by, but well, he's not necessary. He comes into play when he becomes necessary.
Which is the same for every character. Both
Yep.
all the way at the bottom of background ponies, all the way up to the main 6. The main characters.
And I don't have, a problem with it. It's just like we mentioned earlier, how when we were introduced to, like, say, Sweetie Belle and Apple Bloom, I mean, we were introduced to them, but we weren't actually introduced to the fact that they were related to Rarity and Applejack, respectively, until later on, because it wasn't relevant. And I don't have a problem with it. It's just, I just find it interesting that, like I said before, I mean, we've never heard any evidence of Shining Armor, at all. It's just the fact that he just sort of comes out completely from left field. That's just kind of what scratches my head. I'm not complaining about it. It's just, I just find it interesting. That's all.
The only thing I'll correct is we've known Apple Bloom is Applejack's sister since episode 1.
Well, I understand. But you
Yes, I know where you're
yeah,
going with this. And for the
yeah.
sake of
Should be
avoiding
pronounced on
repeating
here.
ourselves, let's move on.
Yeah,
Okay.
agreed.
Now I'm going to go on that rant again. So I'm going to, for those of you in the chat who weren't here last time, this is what's going to happen. I'm basically going to tune everyone out, and I'm just going to start rambling here. If you have any corrections or anything you wish to comment on, just wait till I get done. I will give you time. I will let you know. I promise. But anyway, sorry. I've had people come up to me and talk to me about how a Canterlot Wedding is in violation of what happened in Lesson 0. And for the sake of argument, we're going to assume that Lesson 0's events do happen before a Canterlot Weddings. They don't have to, necessarily. But I can see why people would assume that, and again, for the sake of argument, I'm going to assume that. The reason I wholly disagree with the idea of Lesson 0's lesson going to waste here lays on the situation. Let's look at them. In Lesson 0's situation, the problem is Twilight didn't have a letter written. Now, according to the episode, she makes it sound like she sends them on every Tuesday. And for the sake of argument, we'll assume that. We don't have to, but again, it's Tuesday. They make note of that. Twilight has not even begun to write the letter. So, it's absence of evidence. In other words, the letter doesn't exist. So, of course, what's the problem? Now I got to go write a letter. I got to find something to write about to Princess Celestia. That's her routine, and given Twilight's nature, that's how she operates. When she starts getting to her wit's end, when she goes to her friends at first saying, help, help, I didn't write the letter. This is the equivalent of me saying, guys, I forgot to put Toxic Mario's comic in my show queue this week. What would most of you say? I'm going to guess that you're going to say, well, gee, EJ, that's pretty bad that you did forget it, but why don't you calm down and, here's a crazy idea, put it in next week's show. And that's roughly the same thing. Twilight goes to her friends and says, guys, I forgot to write the letter. Help me. And they say, calm down. They probably have a good, at least somewhat, grasp of Princess Celestia and what she's like. If Princess Celestia would get worked up over Twilight forgetting a letter like this, to them, yeah, let's be honest here. I don't think she's going to care. She's probably got more important things to worry about, Princess Celestia. And even if she doesn't, I don't think Princess Celestia takes me as the kind of pony who would say, Twilight forgot her letter. I must now scold her and punish her for such insolence. I think she'd be pretty understanding about the situation. And that's where the other 5 come into. That's their perspective. They don't see it as such a big deal because they probably know Princess Celestia. However, there's one other thing I want to point out in this. Twilight forgetting her letter itself. Do we need any more evidence than that? Twilight saying, guys, I forgot to write my letter. Is that not proof enough? Most of us would say yes. Now, you could go ahead and say, prove it. Prove that you don't have the letter written. But you'd be trying to prove that something doesn't exist. But I'm going to ignore that route. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make with this is all the evidence is right there. Everything that you need is right there. My letter is not written. Shoot, darn, that's bad for you, Twilight, but calm down. Now let's look at a Canterlot Wedding. And most of you did point this out when this very scene came up. So I'm actually quite happy you guys did. But anyway, yes, it's the exact opposite scenario. Twilight confronting what we believe to be Cadence at the time is her saying Princess Cadence is evil. That's a pretty bold accusation, if you ask me. This is the equivalent as if I were to say, hey guys, did you know that Mr. Ben committed a murder? What would be the first thing you guys would ask? I would hope it would be, well, where's your evidence? Same scenario. In order to back up such a serious claim, you need evidence and deductive logic to come through with it. And inductive as well, I should say. You need evidence and logic to back your claims up. Now let's look at the situation again, going back to the whole entirety of episode 25 up to the wedding rehearsal part. We see Twilight following Chrysalis disguised as Cadence throughout the entire episode. First of all, we only get a small snippet of it, and that's just because it falls under Fluttershy's scene or who was the other one that they didn't go to? They didn't go to Dashi. None of these two scenarios, and I'm going to pick on Fluttershy's in particular. We didn't go to Fluttershy's because we get it. We understand. We went to AJ's scene, we went to Rarity's scene, we went to Pinkie Pie's scene. We get it. Now, from the perspective of the other five, discounting Twilight, I'd be willing to bet that some of them, Rarity in particular, knows what a wedding is like, especially given that Rarity, makes wedding dresses. We saw it in season 2, episode 17. I would I would bet good money that some of them, at the very least some of them, have some semblance of what a wedding is like, which is why at that cafe scene they said, what was it they said? It's her bad behavior, Cadence's, is just the result of nerves. Remember this kind of thing, because I'm going to be coming back to it very shortly. Frustrated and fed up, which is something that Twilight tends to do, she goes to confront Shining Armor herself, where she sees Chrysalis disguised as Cadence's actions. The zapping his head again. Now, to her, that's, of course, all the evidence that she needs. There's just one problem with that. And here comes the wedding rehearsal scene. As I said, she says Cadence is evil, and you need evidence to back that up. The other five have not seen the entire picture that we have. Not even the entire picture that Twilight has, for that matter. However, at this point, they can only go off of what they've personally experienced and what Twilight's told them. And to them, they're probably thinking, yeah, she's rude, but she's probably about as stressed out as can be. Does the term bridezilla mean anything to anyone? With that, and with Twilight throwing these accusations out, as some of you pointed out in the lines again, that evidence is weak. It isn't like the killer's fingerprint in the victim's blood. It's weak, shoddy evidence. It's borderline hearsay, basically. So when Cadence runs off, of course, Twilight thinks she's secured a victory. She has not, because Shining Armor then confronts her, saying, the reason my eyes are terrible is because she's using her magic not to harm me, but to heal me, because I'm having terrible migraines. She's stressed out because she's had to make all the wedding decisions. She's had to do this, she's had to do that. All in the hopes of trying to make everything perfect for their big day. Question for everyone. Of the two scenarios, Twilight's and Shining Armor's, who's the more believable one? And in regards to... Go ahead.
I was about to say, from the circumstantial evidence you've given, I would have to go with Shining Armor, but I'm gonna let you finish your thought.
Okay, yeah, I'm not done yet. Now let's look at, and yeah, thank you for saying that though, Mr. Ben. Okay, so Mr. Ben believes Shining Armor's take on things, and here's why. Here's why I don't blame them. First of all, I want to point out another flaw in Twilight's statements. They haven't seen everything. The other five, as I said, they can only go off of what they have seen and experienced. So, Shining Armor gives his statement that now the other five are in a conundrum. They can either do one of two things: believe Twilight or buy Shining Armor's story. And now I have one last question for everyone. What does that make them? And I'll answer that. If what people have told me about Lesson Zero, the fact that it was violated, or that that Twilight's friends were supposed to take Twilight's problems seriously, first of all, I don't believe that their actions were out of line. There's a difference between being concerned about your friend's problems and, first of all, needing to prioritize them and making your own judgment calls. If they were to have bought Twilight's story, you do realize that if they were to always and forever be loyal and believe whatever Twilight said, that's not loyalty, folks. That's blind, brainless, irrational devotion. Or they could make their own assumptions based on their own judgments. They could say, Twilight's got her argument, Shining Armor has his argument. Which one should I believe? That means they have to use their own mind, their own rationale, their own deductions to come to a conclusion, which makes them rational beings. Pick one. You can't have both. And I'm done.
I was about to say I've been waiting for this because I actually had a question from someone in the chat that I wanted to ask you about this. I believe you've already, answered the first part of the question I was going to ask, but the question I was given was, do you feel the actions in the finale, the first part of the finale, go against the moral learned in Lesson Zero, and is that same moral reused in the second half?
Well, I already answered the first question.
Yeah, that's what I said.
What was the second one again? Was it reused?
Is the same moral from Lesson Zero reused in part 2 of the finale?
I would say no. And here's on this premise. By the time the second part rolls around, someone's blowing on the mic.
That's not me. I have it muted.
Okay, I think it was Tim. Anyway,
Probably.
This kind of goes back to what I just finished saying, that all the evidence is right there. Oh shit, it's the changelings now that we've all been duped. Now make your decision there, Applejack. I'm reading some of the lines now that I have a minute. Matt the Shadowman, to answer your question, this was a matter of time sensitivity, first of all. And second, it's a matter of importance. This is something I'll get to when we get to about 3 weeks. There's an episode I want to go over with everyone. However, I'll just answer that for now with this question. Consider the circumstances. All right. You guys have anything to add to that, or I know the audience is kind of is chiming in with questions and whatnots, but yeah, I hope that answers your question, everyone.
I'm just gonna say I misread your last comment in the chat somehow. I somehow I don't know how, but I misread assuming as ass kicking.
Your aura color is ass kicking. What's the color of ass kicking?
My fist and my feet.
True enough.
But that's yeah. No, I really don't have anything else to say at this point.
I mean, Rain's comment here. Well, we're already in. I know that most of the show already took it in, but yeah, we're about an hour in, and here we are, kind of thing. All right, I've said all I want to say about episode 25, but maybe there's something that I missed. Is there anything you guys think that I missed? Now, before I go on, concerning the characters of Cadence and Shining Armor, we'll get there. Don't worry. But is there anything that I missed from episode 25?
Anything plot relevant? No, I don't think so.
Exactly, I sticker. And the moral is not a kind of tick to put in the box. It's, well, a lesson may be learned, but it may not always stick. It may be relearned, or it may come into play less in a smaller way. Just look at Rainbow Dash.
Spike has the best toys.
He does. He plays the originals.
Buy our toys. Buy our toys.
Great. Now you just got me thinking of Spike playing with the old G1 and G3 toys.
I do. Do you? I do. Shipping intensifies, folks. Okay, since we've gone through, since I'm not getting anything out of anyone from episode 25, why don't we move on to the second half, where a lot of where Hell breaks.
On to changelings. On to the changelings.
Hang on.
Yes, he is.
I'm just reading Rain's comment there. What was it I was going to ask now? Before we get to the revelation of the changelings, I do want to talk about we will talk now about the cave scene and this day Arya. So why don't we start with the cave scene? Is there anything anyone wants to say about Twilight in the caves? The very intro of episode 26.
Still foreshadowing for the Crystal Kingdom.
I never thought about that.
You know, that is a good point. I just, for some reason, I think of Cave Story's geothermal theme playing in my head whenever I watch that. And I also think of that Crystal Caves fight scene from Last Airbender, and then I'm just trying to think of that being ponified. And then I just realize I'm going off on a tangent and not sticking to the topic, and I do apologize.
I do wonder about one thing. The bridesmaids. It's less about how they got here, although it also is about how they got there, they probably got teleported in, but The bigger question is where Cadence got the bouquet.
Hammer space, of course.
Probably. Still, it's kind of it's the only case of ponies directly under changeling control that don't seem to be acting simply by suggestion, but who are actually hard overridden and acting like zombies, not just you know compelled, but outright controlled.
I think I see where you're going with that.
And we see changeling can do that too.
I wouldn't say that they were more outright controlled, especially with the bridesmaids. It was more like they were hypnotically suggested because, as Cadence and Twilight are escaping from the caves, they do manage to distract them of all things with the bouquet by tossing it off over a cliff.
Oh, that's more or less what I meant. So yeah.
Oh my god, that's sexism. Pack up, folks. We're done here. Show's over. Show's ruined forever. Let's get out of here. In all seriousness, I think that was intended as a joke, purely for the joke.
Of course.
It's a wedding. I mean, come on. They could have. I don't think Twilight or Cadence would have had much trouble getting through them. We see that later on, and it's not a terrible assumption to assume they could do that now. But you've got a wedding going on. You've got bridesmaids guarding it. Come on.
Sure.
Why wouldn't you go there? That's a great joke.
Well, I mostly just mentioned it because I like Lyra's voice here, and I like that she appeared in here. I like that all three of them got voices.
Let's hope that her voice in particular, Lyra, stays consistent.
Oh yes. It's music to my ears.
Well, everyone pairs her with Bon Bon in one way, shape, or form. And of course, we all know Bon Bon's track record for consistency in her voice.
Bon Bon is best voice actress.
Which I find hilarious, by the way.
Yep.
Where was
She's
I?
a ventriloquist.
But, yeah, that's where I was going. All right, so let's talk about This Day Aria. What do you guys have to say about this song?
Goat scream.
Huh?
Goat scream.
We should just play that little video. I know I've played it before outside of BwB, but we should probably do that here at some point, just for the heck of it.
Tune up afterwards as I set up and played.
Yes, I have heard goats bleat. I know what they sound like. This is what I want to say about This Day Aria. First of all, you guys have heard by now me say songs like the anthem at the end of Season 2, Episode 10. I say, why is it that all the good songs are always so short? Well, it's about time that we get one that's not only fantastic, but is not cut off. Thank you, finally. Took you long enough, guys, but hey, you pulled it off, and I'm happy.
It's the first full classical musical number in the show, probably. At the very least since Winter Wrap-Up, but this is a very different style.
Oh, musicals. Don't even get me started on that. Man, remind me of this when we eventually get to Magical Mystery Cure. Man, I have so much to say about that, just in terms of the musical selection alone.
Oh, trust me, we're going to have a lot to say about that. But let's get back to Season 2's finale.
Yes.
I've already said what my favorite song of Season 2 is. That would be Smile, Smile, Smile. But this one is a very close second. I love this song. I'm a big sucker for these kinds of orchestral pieces that are just big, grand, and full. And that's exactly what they brought to the table with this one. Strangely enough, they do it in a duet style, which, given the circumstances, worked wonderfully. But
funny thing is about. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
Go ahead.
when you said the duet, it's just this is actually really interesting to me in the sense the fact that not only is it a duet, but it's technically an actress singing a duet with herself. Not many duets do that.
Rachel Soichet will do that in Equestria Girls Rainbow Rocks.
This franchise does it a lot. In a good way.
True.
Well, it's just like I said. I mean, the fact is that in regards to a duet, you generally have two different singers singing two different. I understand it's technically from a character standpoint, it works because you have an imposter impersonating the princess and then the princess herself. But the fact is, it's the same voice actor doing both roles, and I just find it amusing from that aspect. Really, Brett must have had a field day singing this, just singing both parts of the song. And I'm kind of wondering, did she do both sets separately, or did she do the entire song all at once?
If I'm guessing and figuring, given how things operate in our world, she's saying Cadence's parts, and then she's probably saying Chrysalis's parts. Separately.
Yeah, that's what I was just more curious on. I was just I just find something like that, how they took it in that direction is just really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like how Rain Shadow said, it's the same character singing a duet with herself, not just the VA. I mean, it's not very often you see any sort of production in any sort of medium actually do something like that. So I have to applaud them just for the creative direction they went in.
Okay, now let's move to the revelation of the changelings. I'll say my bits, but I'll let you guys say that first. What do you guys have to say about the changelings here in this scene? Now, audience, we already went over the changelings. We did that last week. So much like the week before, where we treated them just more as plot devices as opposed to talking about hypotheses and theories on them, same thing here. We're going to only treat them more as plot devices and passing glance kind of thing. So I'm going to preserve that, but go ahead.
The changelings, remember?
Well, what can I say about the changelings?
Well, if anything, we can just let the audience say it. But yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
Ben. Go ahead.
Well, the changelings, I have to admit, are probably one of my favorite villains in pretty much just the entire series thus far. Just how interesting that they've come across. I mean, I love how the series just takes roots from mythology and theology in regards to just various forms of antagonists. We've had the Hydras, we've had the dragons, we've had the Awizodal, we've had the Wendigos, but now we also have the changelings. And the changelings, in regards to, are like one of the first villains that we've seen that are a true sentient, almost sapient, sentient / sapient race of actual antagonists. And outside of the Diamond Dogs, anyway. At least we do have the Diamond Dogs, but they were more of a minor, almost incompetent. I mean, we're looking at like an army of antagonists. We're looking at something that could actually be seen as a true threat, and that actually gives me a grin to.
I swear that silence is not good.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, like what Rain Shadow just said here in the chat room. We're not facing a singular villain. We're facing a multitude of them, and up until this point, we've never seen that before. The fact that they even came completely out of left field is also something that just blew me away. I mean, we
And the
didn't
bonus
even.
points. The bonus points is that they both came out of the left field completely unexpected and felt at place, at home.
Exactly. Good point.
Exactly. Yeah, right there. Like you mentioned it. I mean, it wasn't like it was just some giant space flea out of nowhere or something like that. It was. They came out of left field, but it wasn't like something that you could just say, wait, what? No, I call BS on this. You can't do this. This is something that happened that you could look back and say, oh, wow, wow, this is amazing.
I'm going to go off on your vein there, Mr. Banks. This is a bit of a anecdote that I'm going to say, but first of all, a legitimate alien invasion. Who wants to see that in like a fan-made thing?
I do.
I'm going to say I do to that as well.
But seriously speaking now, you talk about how it was a surprise or that it came out of left field. Yeah, that's the tangent I'm going off of. I said last time, and I still stand behind this. Where was it I was going? Oh yeah, they darn it, I am losing my train of thought here. I remember
Don't
back
forget the
before
tickets.
before this episode aired, when they were starting to show the previews on TV about this, about the episode itself, but they didn't reveal anything. And that was the big thing, was that the commercials never revealed anything important, and thank you for that. In fact, they went off on a wow, I am really off today. When they started up, just before they started up, I thought this was going to be a fight yourself episode. Now, of course, it eventually revealed itself it wouldn't. But based on the previews, which they were just showing the fight scene at the end between the main six and the changelings, that's what I thought this was going to be. Now, it didn't turn into that. But throughout this entire episode, when I first saw this, which was the premiere day, I was thinking, okay, when are they going to start fighting themselves? How are they going to intertwine that into this story? I'm waiting for it, and I'm just like, dude, this is awesome. And then we get the changelings. This was one of the most... It was so... I still applaud them to this day for that. Not because I was disappointed, but because I was pleasantly surprised. Not only did they suddenly give, the short screen time that they had, but they colored the changelings so wonderfully. And the fact that they came out of left field like this, they destroyed my expectations, but they replaced it with something much, much better. Yes, I am still waiting on the Fight Yourself episode, but hey, for what it's worth, I love what they did. This is what's known as some good writing. So yes, kudos to the guys who were doing the commercials at the time for hiding it so well, because only then were the changelings revealed, and that's how you should do it. And I know you guys are going to say, which is more than we can say about Season 3, which I would agree with. All right. What do you guys have to say? It's gotten kind of quiet here. So now the changelings have been revealed.
Meow. Meowfield.
What do you guys have to... Let's move to the fight scene. What do you guys have to say about the fight scenes? Not just the bit after where they left, but where they left the main... The indoors, where they went outdoors to get to the elements of harmony. What do you guys have to say about this scene?
I still
I
grin at
loved
the
it.
I still grant it the fan theory of Rarity being the one responsible for all the cloud dust in the background, basically beating everybody up off screen because she's the only person we don't see close up in the fight scene between everybody that's being shown.
So what you're saying is overpowered 9,000 Nerfplex?
Yes, exactly.
No,
That.
don't, no, 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 don't nerf Rarity, please. But yes, I agree. I agree. I agree with that. Definitely. And I also tried to look at the clouds, look at the background, and though I don't think I even see anyone's silhouette with Rarities, so maybe that is true. Interesting. But getting back on the point, I once again returning to the debate we had earlier in the chat. When the main six arrive to the tower where the elements are kept, what they find is like a shot out of the first Lord of the Rings. That's changelings everywhere, crawling on the ceiling, crawling on the floor, the pillars everywhere. And I think it's not just by accident that this place, that's Chrysalis actually knew what was being kept there, but she could not retrieve it beforehand, for whatever reason. There are many possible reasons, so she instead sent her changelings to secure it. And trapped the main six who she knew would head for it, with both this force being in the hole and the second force coming right after them. So it makes perfect sense.
We already went over that in the chat, and I really don't want to dig that up again. If you guys in the audience want to, I'll entertain you afterwards, but I'm not going to dig it up myself. What I do want to say, though, is this is the first major fight scene that we've had in this show up to this point. And I'm trying to... Yeah, this is the first major fight scene that we've had in the show. And I don't mean like what they did to Nightmare Moon or Discord, which you could count that as violent. I would. But
yeah, I was about to say, yeah, that's actually, you have a point there, because even though we've seen conflict in the show, it has never actually come to physical blows until this point.
Go ahead, sorry.
Well, mostly true, because, well, there were very few close calls, and there were a few blows in the Return of Harmony.
Good point. But, like I said, this was a legitimate fist fight, and that's exactly what this was supposed to be.
I was about to say, this isn't so much of a fist fight as it is more of an all-out street brawl.
Quite literally and figuratively.
Well, for the changelings, it's more like a bar brawl, because they came to an all-you-can-eat buffet, and there's a bunch of hooligans.
Okay, now I just want to see that whole fight scene done with the ponies now holding beer bottles and chairs and stuff.
Yeah. Seriously speaking, again. Actually, no, I'm going to say that for later. But I did want to see what I wanted to see what everyone else has to say about it in the audience here. So, yeah, guys, what do you guys have to say about the fight scene?
Kick, crash, punch, bow, bow.
Just kind of makes me upset that the fan game Fighting is Magic got C&D'd.
Yeah.
But then it got revived, so
yeah.
I enjoy this fight scene for what it is. As I said back in our Season 4 first pass, I said that I applaud this show for usually taking the peaceful route, for saying, hey, let's try and work our problems out by rationale. That is to say, trying to find common ground and coming to something everyone can work with.
And then someone going, fuck it, have it here.
But as I said, sometimes you gotta put, sometimes you just, there's no, there are some beings you just can't reason with. the changelings are one of them. So sometimes you gotta put down the fancy glasses and quill and break out the fist.
Smash the enemy with them.
And yeah, smash him with a hammer, smash him with your bare hoofs, smash him with your lacer, whatever. Sometimes
Smash them with the glasses and the quill.
Speaking of smashing, I'm just, this is getting back to Rarity again. I have to find it amusing that a lady of her caliber, of her high class, is not afraid to get her hands dirty.
Oh,
or
I
her
think
hooves
that's the
dirty.
best part about her. I know we kind of went over this in the season 2 opener, but yeah, I love that about her, that she's one heck of a fighter.
I love Rarity when she gets dirty.
Kinky.
I'm sorry.
Moving on.
All right, why don't we
on.
get to... hang on, I'm just going to read some of the comments here from the chat. Peanut butter brony.
Say hello to my little pony. It's coward killing time. Da 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 da.
Now it's coward killing time. Okay. So now let's get to the next scene where we get to the after they got captured and brought back to the foyer or the chapel or whatever it is. What room is that?
I want to say no, it's not the room. Leave Tommy Wiseau out of this.
Yeah, thank
anyway,
God.
I want to say that's more of like a storage facility where they keep, the treasures and elements of harmony and other such pony weapons of mass destruction.
No, not that room. The room.
Weapons of mass friendship. I'm sorry.
No. I'm referring to the
ceremonial room, the coronation room.
Okay, the coronation room. We'll go with that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. Thank you.
So what do you guys have to say about this whole scene? We'll go up to after the changelings were blown out. What do you guys have to say about this?
After the changelings were blown out. Right? After?
Yep, after.
Well, Cadence cleans up nicely.
Yes.
Yeah. Applejack pulling her Stetson out from nowhere and just putting it on her head and just clashing horribly with the rest of her wedding dress. It just makes me grin. Always. Also, if you look... I was about to say, also...
Cute OCD. Cute little OCD from Twilight. Look at her correcting that... whatever it is on Shining.
I was referring to the scenes just before this, actually. I said
all right.
Between when they got captured and up to the changelings being blown out. That's what I'm referring to.
Ah, that one.
Yeah.
Well, first I wanted to say that Chrysalis is freakishly strong.
Yes.
Or at least freakishly heavy. She just lands without any without much extra force, not diving, and ground cracks under her. She has eaten well,
and yet she still has really that figure.
Well. Yep.
I said it once, and I'll say it again. I always love big attacks like that. The attacks that just blow the whole scenery apart. So, seeing Cadence and Shining Armor blow them out is freaking awesome. But before I get to that bit, there's a lot I need to address here. First of all, just the attack itself. The idea of them combining their magic into one big attack. This is something that it's a plot hole probably, if not a borderline one. But there is something that I will address. People ask, so how does Chrysalis not know about this? The best explanation I can come up with is that it's either a pony exclusive ability, that is, they can swap magic, which I don't. I have a hard
Or it
time
could
buying that.
be.
I have a hard time buying it, and I'll get there when I get there. Or they just never tried it, which. Why would they not try that?
I actually could suggest something.
Go ahead.
I think it has to do with Caden's special talent. That it's a kind of ability that she has. And that she, due to her special talent being love, and it being a powerful source of magic, it's kind of ended up crossing the streams with everything, and
But-
the
Go ahead.
aligning with Shining. It was a kind of science babble stuff.
We do see Luna and Celestia transfer their magic to Twilight in the season 4 finale. Now, yes, I know I'm jumping ahead, but that's where my problems and conundrums lay in this.
It's less of a magic transfer. I don't think there has been any transfer. It's more like she used her special talent in conjunction with Shining, who there is a strong love link between them. So she used this link to restore him and use this as a kind of massive power battery.
Okay, I can see that now, because she does say, my love will give you strength, not my
Yes,
magic.
and only she can do it because it's her special talent.
Okay, fair enough.
Not just any pony. Just like not any pony can raise the sun.
Which would also explain why Chrysalis would not know of that.
Yep.
And yeah,
After
you
all,
just hit it right there.
Yeah.
So they underestimated it as anything but food.
Yes, and we don't really know that much about our food unless we prepare it, but well, love is hard to prepare. Although I would like to try.
Okay, good. I'm convinced. I'm just checking something here. But
I'm just gonna say this. Thanks to Ben Hur's comments in the chat room, I could always. I just now imagine Cadence's Vash the Stampede from Trigun.
That would be awesome.
I'm just now imagining her in the red overcoat and the triple barreled gun shooting out like love bullets and everything. Better run, son. Cupid's coming. He's packing.
And then Chrysalis is some villain from there. Pick your favorite, basically. Anyway, one thing that I do want to note. Do you guys have anything left to say about that? Both you, Ben, and Tim, and guys, the audience.
Looks like Tim Krish is blasting off again.
I will never unhear that from whenever I see that scene.
Well, gee,
I'm sorry.
The Team Rocket blasting off again is in virtually every single episode. But that was the fun of it.
Yeah.
The power of love.
Oh, I want to see that now. Somebody get on that.
I could not resist.
Meow.
By the way, we're 15 minutes away from the 2-hour mark. This does not surprise me, given the last time. I just want to say that to put that in perspective here.
And you
Yeah,
said we
it's
wouldn't have
not.
enough material to fill the 2 hours.
No, well, no, we
Nah,
do. We do. We always try and make. In fact, we're usually going over. But anyway, getting
yeah,
back to
we
the
do.
getting back to the topics at hand here. All right, why don't we that got team rocketed. Okay, why don't we then talk about
Taco Bell Taco.
let's talk about the end scenes, folks. The everything beyond this, we're beyond after the changes get blown out. Everything. We'll wrap everything up here. What do you guys have to say about these scenes?
Best party ever.
I love how in the actual wedding scene when they're bringing everyone in, if you look closely in the crowd scene, not only can you see Derpy, but you could also see a few shout outs to a couple of fandoms. Harry Potter in particular is one of them.
What is it with Cadence and the Harry Potter shout outs? But go on.
I also just love how in when like everything's wrapping up right before they get into the Love Is in Bloom song, I still find it interesting how Rainbow Dash is able to create that sonic boom, not the sonic rain boom, not just by flying fast, but by flying upwards against gravity and pulling that off.
Girl's been training. Girl's been training.
Exactly.
And she pulls it off later again. So it's not exactly. Well, it's not strange. It's rather more indicative of her progress. That she's getting better.
I would agree. I definitely would agree.
Also, I like to interpret Celestia's eyes when Luna lands and says, "Did I miss anything?" I just see that 1,000-yard stare in her eyes.
Yes.
Like, sister, you have no fucking idea.
I still say Luna just slept through the whole thing, and she's just such a heavy sleeper. She could probably sleep through the end of the world and wake up and be like, "What the heck happened?"
Z.
She's shooting zombies in her sleep.
No, she's beating up Freddy Krueger.
Could be. And he's making the Z sounds.
Ice.
Yeah, she is.
Ice, you're going to be starting a shipping war here. Not just amongst Pony fans, but Harry Potter fans.
That's got to be an Academy record.
Nah, Shining and Twilight wouldn't be Weaslings. Their family's not big enough.
There will be.
Do 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 do.
Doo-doo.
What was it I was going to ask then? Okay, let's talk about Love Is in Bloom, the song. What do you guys have to say about that?
It's so simple, but it's so freaking catchy.
That's what I love about most of these songs is
Just works. It's just right. It's not a super duper masterpiece of complexity, but it's just worked together so finely. And, well, sung so fine, so well. I like it. And this Twilight singing it, for goodness sake. Twilight.
I do like how at the end we actually do get to finally see, for just a briefest of seconds, Vinyl's actual eye color.
but it was so it was hidden behind like a yellow tint.
Yeah.
And yes, at the same time, it's in the bad lighting, not in clear lighting. It's just ultimate trolling.
And then
And
go ahead.
And people still complain about it.
Storyboarded by Discord.
I also do like.
Go ahead.
I was about to say, I also do like how there just seems to be sort of hints of, people in the very end where we see like the snapshots of people together, or I should say the ponies and Spike, together in like various couples, like Rainbow Dash with Soren, Fancy Pants with Rarity, just little minor things like that to sort of tease at the possibilities or potentialness of, but that's just something else entirely. So
You shippers in your dreams. One thing that I do want to comment on is I like one of the things that are one of the big reasons I like this song is because it works as a fantastic send off, not just to the newlyweds, but
To the season.
to the whole season and to the whole episodes themselves. It's a fantastic send off, and it's just a fantastic way to wrap everything up.
Yep. Only season 4 ever managed to repeat this feat.
Pretty much. But we'll get there when we get there.
Mm-hmm. Well, so far Pony has a rather good track record in terms of doing these last minute send-offs, I would say. In comparison to other shows, at least, just look at some of the others we've seen here on CQ. I would say that's... Well, look at some other shows that we have seen on CQ here streamed. Compared to them, each season of Pony has a much better send-off than they.
Yeah, I would say that. For one reason or another, of course.
Yeah. Well, and it's good that we didn't see Spike's bachelor party. It would have been too not safe for work. You don't know that little dragon.
Do 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 do. Okay.
And yes, look at what Rain. Look at what Rain's posting there. It's allowed, of course. Those little unique individual dances.
They're always incredible.
Do we want to talk about Shining Armor and Princess Cadence now, or do we want to talk about the episode wrap-up now? Or the episode overall, I should say.
Well, we're less than 10 minutes away from the 2-hour mark. Let's go ahead and start wrapping this up.
I'll let the audience chime in.
Well, I could wrap up Shining Armor and Cadence quite quickly. I would say that as of this specific episode, they simply didn't have the time to get enough time to themselves to get developed properly. But what we have seen here is a very solid base. From there, as we could see throughout Season 3, and even where they also featured only a little bit, throughout them, we could see that this base was indeed working, and later on provided for a rather good character expansion, so they are now at least well on their way to becoming better, broader characters, particularly with Cadence. Well, you have watched Season 4.
Yep.
So this episode specifically did not do too much to introduce them and flesh them out, so they were fairly blank. Not blank, they had their limits, they had their boundaries, what they weren't, in the most general terms. They were functionally complete. But the character quirks that other characters who have been on the series for a long time, those they hadn't yet acquired. For obvious reasons, they simply didn't have enough episodes to themselves to acquire them. By now, there are a few, and they keep getting better, so let's hope they'll get even more and become even more memorable characters. By now, Cadence already is Best Princess.
Yeah, she's actually done things.
And Shining
cool
is the only
things at
prince.
that.
Shining is the only prince, and he does things.
And what? Oh,
Shining's the only prince, and he does things. That's what he said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Celestia
and Luna will actually only Celestia and Luna will only banish you. Cadence will straight up blow your ass up.
Exactly.
Let's not forget that the entire Generation 4 is a plot by Celestia and Luna to secure themselves eternal vacations. They simply want other ponies to replace them so they can go vacation forever.
True. One thing I want to touch upon is I have I have some semblance of an idea of why I like these two characters, but it falls under why. Why do I like these two characters so much? Because not only at this point, but even in the whole series overall, I'm going to discount the comics for a minute. They haven't really done that much. Yeah, I just said they do stuff, but it hasn't been
Not that
much.
much.
So why do I like them so much? I've thought about this, and I think I can boil it down to a few things. One, potential. I believe that, and I hope, certainly, that, yeah, I know they're minor characters, but hey, look at Three's a Crowd. We get a little something out of them that isn't the end of the world for once. And we see bits and snippets of them here and there doing stuff that, isn't, again, it's not end of the world, must destroy the threat here. So, I'm thinking here. It's just a matter of putting it. I know what I want to say. It's just saying it. But those bits and snippets are, just that, bits and snippets. It's not to the same degree that, say, Twilight has or Pinkie Pie has had. I think what helps, though, is the fact that, here's the other one, the fans. Sometimes, I know we talk about the fans a lot, and oftentimes we might even say that, all of their theories are garbage, or that, everyone who believes this is an idiot. And to be fair, yeah, we're going to believe that. At some point, we're all going to believe that because, let's be honest here, there's a lot of people in this fandom. So, yeah, you're going to come across something that's going to make you go do this one day. Even on here, for crying out loud.
Indeed.
But sometimes the fans can hit marks that make you go, this is awesome. This is an awesome characterization of this character. Ultimately, and I'll expand upon this later, but ultimately that might not be true. But
yeah,
excuse me.
Yeah,
ultimately
I agree.
that might not be true, but sometimes the fans can make a character far better. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I've never thought about it as a bad thing. I can think that the specific instances where someone's characterized a character are bad, but not as an entirety do I think that a person's characterization of a character is terrible. Not the overall aspect, not the entire bit of it. So let's look at these two. The fans, I've seen some really cool ideas pumped out from them, whether they be silly, serious, whatever, anything in between.
Or seriously silly?
Or seriously silly, exactly. And this leads into my next point. Sometimes, even with these two, sometimes it's just a matter of even within the canon. I kind of skipped over this, so I'm repeating myself a little bit. As I said, it's true that they don't have a lot of development canon-wise. And even if we include the comic, that's still not a truckload. However, I think one of the big reasons why I like these two characters is because I hope, and I know it's probably not going to ever come true, but I've always hoped that the show will expand upon them. Kind of as a giant overarching story. It's not, and just like anything from season 4, not every episode is going to have them. Not every episode is going to focus on them. And even episodes that do have them in them, they're probably just going to be short cameos and whatnot. But this episode established them as characters. We've established them as a newlywed couple. I want to see where this goes. I want to see their story. And I think that's the biggest reason why I like them so much. Not just from what the fans have added, but just where their potential in canon can go. So I'm really hoping that one day we do see more on their story. I'd love to. What about you guys?
I
Yep.
would love to be able to see something like that, not just in regards to just Cadence and Shining Armor, but you can make that same argument for any side character. You could do that for the Cakes, you could do that for Pinky's family with her sisters and parents, you could do that with um pretty much just any popular fan characters really that's has any tangible relations to the show episode at all. I would love to see just an entire episode of just nothing but that, where we don't even really marginally focus on the main cast, but rather just the supporting cast, not just the CMC, but more like something more along the lines of Big Macintosh. There was talk about a potential episode about focusing entirely on Big Mac, and the whole episode would have been largely silent, but they went ahead and they just axed it because they thought that an episode without dialogue wouldn't work. And I have to disagree with that. I mean, look at Fantasia. There's several spots where they have done entire segments of that movie with no dialogue whatsoever, and it still tells a story. It still paints a picture, and they could do something like that easily. And I would love to see something like that done with Big Macintosh. Just have no dialogue whatsoever. Just have all of the dialogue just replaced with nothing but musical cues. Just have it be an entirely silent episode, and just roll with it. I would love something like that.
Exactly, I would say that would work. And
Look
if
at
we
all
were
the-
to be comedic, we could have a little segment in there where Big Mac would acquire a tiny black mustache and a walking cane, and a bowler cap, of course.
Right.
Just for the best impression. Just for a few frames, at least. But I would say that as for Cadence and for Shining, I believe I started liking them right from the start. At the very least because of what already was there. And not just what could be there, but what already was there, and I was alright with that. I was not opposed to it. And what later came in about them in later episodes, and particularly to me in the comics, made them much better of a character each to me. So I'd say that I liked them, and I was right. So you ain't gonna tell me you can't tell me I'm wrong. It's my opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there is nothing such thing as a wrong opinion.
It's just not objective, but it's opinion. It's personal.
Exactly.
Something that I do need to address to, and this goes out to everyone, the fact that Cadence is an alicorn. I know that everyone and their mother has an opinion on this, so I do want to hear from both the audience and you.
Oh, I do want to say something.
Let's talk about this. I want to do it now because I want to set up for later, and that's why I want to do this. More than
I
anything.
really want to say something about it. I really do. So, I just freaking love the fact that Cadence in this episode is an alicorn, and nobody, and neither the dog, makes a freaking point to point that out. Princess, sure. Alicorn, no. And I freaking love it, honestly. Because, well, it's the entire show, I would say, only makes a point to point out the different features of pony subspecies when they come into play. And in this episode, her wings only came into play a couple times, and they were in a place where there was no point in out as an alicorn specifically, and there was no point to point out. So she's an alicorn, but it doesn't matter, and it's good, and it's the way I like it, because I like it when it doesn't matter that somebody is an alicorn or not.
Mr. Ben?
I'm just typing it in the chat here. It reminds me of that Joker meme. Introduce a character that's already in Alicorn, nobody bats an eye. Take a character and ascend her to Alicorn,
And nobody bats an
everyone
eye.
loses their minds.
No, actually, believe it or not, Cadence being another Alicorn is perhaps one. It's most certainly one of, it's if not one of the biggest um, controversial things that this episode brought up.
Yes,
People
of course.
people will gripe and moan and complain, not without warrant, of course, it's their opinion. But of all the episodes up to this point, this is most certainly one of the most controversial episodes, believe it or not. I know a lot of us are, going off here saying we love this episode, but I want to put you guys in a mindset here. Let's go all the way back to the days to the moment just after this episode aired. We've got all sorts of people on both sides of the aisle here. People like us who really don't care that Cadence is an Alicorn for one reason or another, and I'll get to my opinion on that here shortly. And people who don't like that she's an Alicorn because of one reason or another. Usually what I've heard is because because it was already established that for two dependent premises. One, it was already established that, or it was loosely established, I'll say that Luna and Celestia were the only Alicorns. The two premises are, A, that Cadence's existence is in and of itself a violation of that initial assumption, and two, she comes right out of nowhere.
I would say that the big reason everyone was griping about is because this whole royal sister thing. It's just because we only had two before, and these people just comfortably snapped into this sun, moon, black, white, both princesses, Alicorn duality, kind of made them divine and kind of yin yang, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then it turns out it's not true, or at least implied it's not true. The entire cosmology, the entire world theory goes up in flames. All the cannons broken, all the toes stepped on with a jackhammer. So it's this kind of thing, at least my mind.
This kind of... Go ahead. Sorry, Ben.
I was about to say, I do find it interesting because it has been stated that Cadence wasn't originally supposed to be an Alicorn. She was originally supposed to be a unicorn like Twilight, but the development
Pegasus,
team...
actually.
Well... See, that's just the thing I was about to
say. I see where you're going with it. Go on.
Yeah, she was originally supposed to just be a unicorn, but then she was changed into Alicornhood by the development team. But the supplementary canon has stated that she wasn't actually a unicorn; she was actually a Pegasus. That she ascended into Alicornhood by her studies of love, and it is actually rather interesting on how. Because, like I said way back beforehand, she wasn't even mentioned or designed to be a Pegasus or an Alicorn. She was supposed to be much like Twilight herself. But it's actually kind of interesting how that just changed over in development and how we got the... reading Tim's comments in the chat there. How everything changed over in development. Mm-hmm. So...
One of the reasons why it never really bothered me is because of what it did to the canon, in the sense of expanding upon it. And what we would eventually come to see in the Season 3 finale, among that, the aforementioned supplementary canon that you just mentioned, Mr. Ben. One of the interesting things about it is the fact that, to me, this... How do I want to word this? What I like about this is it doesn't make Celestia and Luna seem so hands-off or too special, in the sense of, like, well, godlyhood, basically.
Yes.
It also gives both Cadence and Twilight, and this is something I'll touch on when we get to the Season 3 finale, or I'll address for sure, but I'll touch on here. They gained their Alicornhood by achievement. They actually had to do something in order to earn their horn and wings, or, in that sense. But anyway, the point is I'm going to just note that for now, and I'll come back to that later. So yes, I like this. I like the fact that she's an alicorn. It expands upon the canon. It expands upon a lot of things. And it leaves a lot of potential for things.
And well, I would like to pitch in with my own 2 bits. I would say that, well, to me, to my mind, to my perception of things, pretty much everything that decosmifies these alicorns and that states that they aren't some sort of race of gods or demigods, but are actually just another pony subspecies, even if they have some greater powers or the like, to me, that's something I welcome. That's nearly universally. In this regard, I'm kind of a pony iconoclast, I would say. So I like it when alicorns are not shown to be some cosmic figures of, Gandalf. They're not the Maiar. They're not the
All powerful.
not all powerful, or not demigods, not the wizards of Lord of the Rings, those immortal angelic beings. They could be immortal, sure, but they are not all powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly that. And it's not something dramatic if one becomes one or stops being one. It's not super dramatic. Well, not any more dramatic if one stopped being a Pegasus and started being a unicorn, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm. All right, I think I've covered everything I want to there. And I got some lines from you guys. So why don't we go to the episode wrap up? Overall, what do you guys have to say about the season 2 finale?
One of the best.
So awesome.
I'm going to let the audience chime in before I go off. And then was there one more thing I needed to say about this? Had very little CMC, 1 out of 10.
Well, the end did have a lot of CMC.
True.
The very end. But yes, for many people liked it the most for several reasons. I can see why. I can't say that it's all the season to end all seasons, but between 1, 2, and 3, I picked 2. I'd say that. Although I don't really play favorites between seasons, and I love all of the pony episodes.
And of course, we'll be getting to that next episode for what it's worth. The season 2 finale, as obvious as it is without a doubt my favorite episode of season 2. Wherein that lays has to be the story, the scope, and how things were played, especially that sneaky surprise with the changelings. I like to think that they knew exactly what they were going for with this episode. That McCarthy said, it's a wedding, so it's got to be big. And that's exactly what we got out of it. We've got a very engaging story. We've got a fantastic villain. Again, that aforementioned surprise. What more can't you love about this episode? Sure, it is controversial and brings a lot of things that it's controversial and brings things that change to the canon, but I'll address that a little bit more in about 3 weeks.
And, well, comparing this episode and its controversy to the kind of controversy that was started later, well, are we even talking? Are we even comparing?
To some degree, we will.
Because, well, it's much less than what came next.
True.
Kind
Yeah,
of
definitely.
overshadowed. That's what I mean. So,
Okay.
compare it to that, this is nothing.
No, for sure, no. We'll get there when we get there, because the season 3 finale, on the other hand, is going to. Well, we'll get there when we get there.
Bring your combat armor.
Oh, trust me, I think if this episode isn't enough, I think the next few episodes, the next episode for sure, I'm going to be putting my noose in a neck, and I'm going to be well, what's other something?
You mean your
backwards?
neck in a noose?
Right. What did I say?
You had it backwards.
Mental images. Yeah.
And now that I totally
without a
just
doubt, Matt the Shadow Man. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, look at the way they wave at the end of it. So yes, I do think to some extent that they were playing off of that, which was going on at the time.
I remember on the actual Hub Network actually did do something like that, where they had someone acting as if the Canterlot Wedding was basically in the same aspect as the royal wedding. So
I'm trying to
yeah,
remember her
definitely to
name.
answer Matt's question, yeah, I don't remember her name either, but yeah, it was very much.
She covered the royal wedding. She was like the head reporter on the royal wedding, the real world royal wedding, and I can't remember her name.
Dang it! Now I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, I won't. I'm not going to worry about it right now. But Armageddon on a Monday. But doesn't that already always happen on a Monday? Tori Spelling. That's who it was. Tori Spelling.
Tori Spelling.
Yes, that was the head reporter for or one of the big reporters anyway, for the real world royal wedding. And they asked her to commentate on it, cover it like it was that here. For those of you wondering about it, it was a cute gimmick. I don't have much to say about it. Given the circumstances, that's fine. They used her, but meh. But anyway, there is something that I do need to talk about to wrap things up here. There are two things I want to specifically mention about this episode. A line and a scene. The line is, she sure has a way of sneaking up on people, what Twilight said. The scene is the last fight scene. And that is how they kept cycling the same 6 frames in and out for about 3 goes before they ended the fight scene. These scenes to me paint a few pictures. Most notably that it was either rushed or the crew got sloppy somewhere in between there. In spite of those nitpicks of mine, I am willing to say that what was I going to say? In spite of those, I am willing to overlook it because there's still a lot of great things to be had with this episode. So yes, does it have its problems? I would say so. But that does not mean I cannot enjoy the episode, even placing it as my favorite of season 2. Rain, what do you mean? Yeah, those same 6 scenes. If you go rewatch the very last bits of the fight scene, that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, I'd say that was a style of editing rather than lazy. Or both, kind of economic editing.
I find it lazy on the premise of why not just have those 6, or maybe like make 9 or 10 slides of different, like use those 6 and then use some like 3 or 4 others, and then
It's a different style. It's a different style. This style kind of emphasizes how it's more of the same and the same intensity and the same. Well, it repeats at a faster pace, so it kind of paints the picture of this fight going on and on and on. That's it.
Okay.
So it's a stylistic device.
I did not know that. Okay. Do you have any examples, Rain Shadow, of movies that do that? Movies that I might know? Now I'm trying to think of some that do that. Going back to that
Most
line,
movies
though.
are just
Go ahead.
most movies are just not shot in this kind of format, so it's mostly you need to look back to cartoons. And in cartoons we will find it.
True.
And there it will be both economic editing and this to emphasize that it has been going for a long time.
Okay, Rain Shadow. Fair enough. One thing I do want to say about the line, though, she sure has a way of sneaking up on people. Folks, this isn't the first time that they've mentioned humans unintentionally. Case in point, Owl's Well That Ends Well. Spike says, quote, "Oh, a man of mystery, huh?" to Aloysius. Truth be told, I'll cut to the chase here. I think this show's actually done a pretty good job, up to this point anyway, of keeping humans out of the equation. As I've said, I just listed 2 examples of where they've accidentally let it slip, but hey, the people doing it, they're only human.
Do 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 do. It's a conspiracy. But well, it's if you think about it, a bit more, it makes a certain kind of sense. At least in some cases. In that specific case, where a specific sneaking up on people, nah. But for example, when Twilight is addressing that pony crowd back in Apple Black and Season, and says anyone instead of any pony,
well, that I can understand because any one is, any one being in the crowd.
Yes,
Anyone who could
one
respond.
can mean dragon, griffin, whatever.
Exactly.
Other animal. And it could be theorized that these people think could be just their way of referring to someone without specifying what species they are.
Possible. But they haven't said people before. That's the thing.
Well, you did say that they did.
Well, I did, but I was...
Anyway, let's wrap this up because this isn't really...
Well, you know what I meant, though. That,
yeah.
As in referencing people qua humans, as in meaning it genuinely, not by an accident or a slip.
Humans. This is Equestria Girls.
But yeah,
So much humans.
That will come in later. We'll get there when we get there. But anyway, is there anything that audience, of course, more in particular, but is there anything I might have missed? Anyone? Is there anything that I might have missed concerning the season 2 finale that we need to talk about still?
A few stray changelings maybe, but otherwise you haven't missed anyone. 9 out of 10. Good shooting.
Again, we already discussed the changelings, so
Say, I really can't think of anything in particular.
Well, Rarity got the bouquet. When's the wedding?
I'd like to see that myself.
That will be a divisive episode. It will be more divisive than Magical Mystery Cure.
No, I would say Magical Mystery Cure was far more divisive, um, far more controversial than this one.
Oh,
This
tell me
this
about it.
this one will be more flamey.
But we already went over that.
Anyway, let's not go there before time.
Ice. All right. I think we will then wrap things up, folks. So, as per tradition, we've got through we have gotten through the season 2 now. So now next week, it's the next week we are discussing season 2 as a whole. So it's everything inside the universe, outside the universe of ponies. It's season 2, the season 2 wrap up. Join us next week as we join us as we close the chapter on season 2. So, on behalf of Mr. Ben and Twilight is Magic, I want to thank everyone for stopping by. Mr. Ben, Twilight is Magic.
Hey, we just want to say thank you for coming. Keep on babbling and see you next year.
Me, that's right. Happy New Year. Happy everything. Happy housewarming and Merry Christmas and happy holidays and happy happiness.
You say with my name. But in all seriousness, yes.
Joy.
See you next year, folks.